this is Vincent with SCA Iowa, another introductory video for the Society for Creative Anachronism. The SCA is a worldwide historic recreation organization dedicated to recreating all the best aspects of the Middle Ages. Anything that was made, used, consumed before 1600, we have friends who enjoy learning about it, exploring it, trying it, teaching others about it. It's a way to explore history hands-on. This is done at a variety of events held across the country and around the world, and many of these are overnight gatherings where our members camp and socialize well into the evening. This video is about getting started with the camping in the SCA and how you can get started on your adventure by participating at camping events. We'll talk about some of the tips in order to get started and hopefully clear up some of the misconceptions along the way. One of the first misconceptions that we should clear up is that medieval pavilions and historic tents are not a requirement in order to camp at SCA events. Modern camping gear is totally acceptable. Most of our members start out in modern tents when they are getting ready to participate at events. As with much in the Society for Creative Anachronism, camping fits a pattern of learning and growing over time at your own pace. It's assumed that whatever endeavor you will be exploring in the SCA, you will improve over time. This will likely apply to your camping gear as well, although not necessarily. For some of our members, modern camping gear just fits their needs better, and they continue to rely on modern equipment throughout their participation in our hobby. If that's what works best for you, then that's okay. After all, there are some advantages to modern camping gear. One is simply that it's more easily available. Almost every big box retail store across the country has some camping gear available, although it may be of questionable quality. Modern camping gear is less prone to mildew and is easier to pack in wet conditions. Modern camping gear also packs a lot smaller than canvas tents, and this can be a major advantage if you are limited on your vehicle space or when you're driving to events, or if you are storing the equipment in a small house or apartment. Many of us who participate in the SCA know that there are many disadvantages to modern camping gear as well. Beyond the simple fact that it isn't as magical as seeing a gathering of canvas tents creating a more historic feeling encampment. The modern camping gear tends to be less comfortable. They often don't handle wind and rain well. They are often colder in cool weather and hotter in warm weather, downright dangerous when it's really hot out in the summer sun. If put up correctly, a canvas tent can handle the wind and rain much better than a modern tent. Canvas tents tend to be safer to heat. They tend to be a little bit warmer when it's cool out. They tend to be far more repairable than modern gear, since many small bits of damage can be patched and re-sewn. Canvas tents definitely are more expensive than modern equipment, but they also tend to last far longer, meaning that the total cost of ownership is less than a modern tent. In fact, one of the large tents I have is probably 20 years old and we still use it regularly. It's fine. Beyond all of this is the simple fact that you should plan on starting with what you have. That's the best course of action. And if you want to improve to a more historic encampment, then do your homework before you start buying camping gear. I normally recommend to newer members to go to a couple camping events, walk around and look at some of the various tents that people bring. There are many different options for tents in the SCA. Each style has its own advantages and disadvantages. Some are easier to set up, some have more interior space, some are more stable in high winds, and so on. By walking around and asking some questions of those who own these tents, you can learn which style might be right for you. Another key bit of advice I have for people is when you're participating in the SCA, make a plan about improvement over time. You don't have to buy all the stuff for your encampment right away. You can choose to make a plan. Make a reasonable budget in order to reach your goals over time, striking the balance between spending and having fun. One last note about modern tents before moving on is we all like to have a little bit of shade when we're standing around in the sun. Many of our members rely on easy ups or pop-up shade flies to help with this. They're generally fairly inexpensive at around $100 to $200 a piece. They pop up in just a matter of minutes. But I do want to give you a warning. You must secure these if there is any wind expected at all, or just plan on taking them down. These are easy ups, but they are also easy downs. They quickly turn into flying debris, which can injure other people and destroy other tents. One of the most common sights I have seen at the end of SCA camping events is the twisted remains of an easy up shade fly turned into wasted wreckage by the slightest breeze. But let's move on. Camping gear just isn't just about the tents. One of the other things you'll be doing is sleeping, and there are many different solutions that people employ for beds in the SCA. It is true that you can go all out and make a variety of historically inspired bed options, ranging from a bed in the box to campaign beds to rope beds and even large four-poster beds with curtains. But these tend to be things that people add far later in their SCA careers. You need to have the time and money and cargo space to haul these around. Starting out, most people are going to rely on sleeping on the ground or sleeping on an air mattress on the ground. There are many options for air mattresses, cot frames, cots, and even bed frames that pack up small. A lot of this comes down to your personal needs for comfort and getting a good night's sleep when you're camping. If you aren't sleeping well, you won't be able to enjoy your medieval adventure in the morning. And all of these options are fine if they work for you. One of the other things people are likely going to need is a place to sit. Again, some of our members may rely on large, heavy reconstructions of medieval furniture that can be rather cumbersome and take up a lot of space. Most people starting out rely on smaller camp stools or modernly available bag chairs or other folding chairs. Obviously, these pack up easily and can be found all over. Some more experienced members dislike the look of the bag chairs, but a lot of this stems from them forgetting that other people haven't been participating as long as they have. If you would like to help out with the general medieval feel, then bringing along a blanket or a scrap of cloth and just throwing it over the chair is often very appreciated. Tables are often needed as a place to prepare a meal or work on a project. Many members do start out with simple folding tables that are easily available from modern stores. Over time, they may progress to a variety of styles made out of plywood or other lumber from home improvement stores. Although these may not be absolutely historically correct, they again help to add to the overall look and ambiance of the event. If nothing else, a table with a tablecloth draped over it helps add to the feel of the encampment. Most members would leave the historically accurate table for later in their list of acquisitions. If you're going to be preparing a meal, then it's likely that you're going to be cooking something, unless you completely rely on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Modern camp stoves are commonly found in most SCA encampments. Not only are they convenient and safer than some of the other options, but they allow us to easily cook at campsites where campfires are not allowed. If you do wish to cook with a campfire, you will need to check with the site rules and see that they are allowed. Campfires must be attended at all times. Part of bringing along food is also keeping things cool, and most members start out relying on modern coolers to do the job. If you would like to disguise your cooler to make it slightly more attractive, then throw a scrap of cloth over the top of it. This can help make the large piece of plastic less intrusive to the event. Beyond that, you can check out some of the other camp coolers and storage boxes that people create in the SCA. Many plans for projects like these and many of the other ones I've mentioned can be found online. Lighting is another challenge when people are camping. And there are some occasions when more historically correct lighting options such as candles and oil lamps are utilized. But it's important to point out the dangers inherent in open flames, especially when you're camping in a nice flammable structure. Most newer members are going to rely on modern flashlights to help provide light when they need it at events. And having a small flashlight along with you on a late night run to a porta potty is always a handy thing. If you are wanting to safely add to the ambiance of your camping experience, then there are many battery-powered LED candles available, and these are far safer than open flames when you're camping. To finish up, let's cover a few quick hints that we provide people, not only new members but experienced members, about camping in the SCA. One of them is packing in plastic totes. Packing your clothes in plastic totes not only helps you to stay organized, get organized, but it keeps your clothes dry in case of rain. It can also mean that you're organized and ready to pack before the event in the first place. Another quick hint is earplugs. The fun of camping events can go well into the night with singing and drumming and people talking. Having a set of earplugs with you can mean that not only can you get to sleep, but you can stay asleep. Eye masks. The morning can come pretty darn early, and when the sun hits your tent, it's pretty much guaranteed going to wake you up. So having an eye mask with you can help you sleep in just a little bit past sunrise. Making sure you have a decent pillow with you can make up for a lot of other camping deficiencies, an uncomfortable bed or whatnot. So bring along a comfortable pillow. And hand warmers. Cheap, flameless chemical hand warmers can be found at about any store, and often when we're camping it gets a little chilly at night. Our solution is to toss 3 hand warmers in the bed about an hour before we go to sleep, and it's like camping with an electric blanket. As I've gone through these topics, I think you picked up on a common theme throughout all of them. Start with what you have. Modernly available options are fine when you're getting started in the SCA. If you would like to improve, then do so over time, addressing the components of your camping gear which make your camping less comfortable or more annoying. If you do want to invest in more historic options, then you have many choices available to you, and you should take your time to investigate which one is going to be right for you. The most important part of all of this is getting you, your family, your friends to an event where you can begin participating in all the fun historic adventures to be found at the events in the Society for Creative Anachronism.